What's up guys, Deadbird here. In today's episode we are going to be continuing our quest system, and in this episode we are going to specifically be working on the quest log. So we have quests, but we don't have a way to actually see what quests we have, and so we'll be remedying that situation in this video. And so without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we need to work on is the UI for this quest log. And so I'm just going to create an empty theme object here and call this quest log UI, and we'll be putting this in the main UI later, but for now this will just gonna be out in the open. And the first thing we need to do is create the image or the background, so let's call this BG, and you can skip ahead if you just want to create your very own custom style, but the requirements for this one is just going to be we're just going to have basically a area where you can select which quest you want to view, and then the description and all the other information on the right hand side. So the very first thing we need to do is go to our quest script folder, and we're going to create a quest log manager script, and we're just going to open that up, and this is just going to handle everything that is going to go that is going to interact with our quest log. Alright, so here we are in our quest log manager, and as usual we don't want most of this stuff, and so the first thing we're going to start out with is the data that goes inside of our quest log. So if you just look at our quest log here, we're going to have some very basic things like a title, description, and maybe some other stuff. Let's just start with those two. And let's go back here, and so we're going to have a public text, and if you don't have a text, alt enter using engine.ui, and we'll call this the quest description, and we'll make another one called quest name. And just like that, we're going to now go into our quest UI, and let's just rename this to quest holder, and then we'll call this quest BG, and then we'll create a new text in here, and we're going to name this quest name, and we'll make another text and call this quest description. I'll just format it to make it look a little bit better. So, alright, so now that we have this information, let's just go over to our quest log UI and throw in the quest log manager onto it. And so you'll see that it needs a quest description and a quest name. And so let's just give it the description into the description and the name into the name. And this is what I came up with, by the way. And it's not the best looking, but it'll do for this example. And so now that we have this information here, or reference to the name and the quest description text, we can go back to our quest log manager and create a quick little method that we'll be using in order to update our quest log. And so this quest is just going to be called public void update quest log. Well, I guess more specifically, we're not updating the quest log, we're updating the UI for our current quest. So we should name it something different. We'll just say update quest UI. And this is going to need a quest base. We'll call this new quest. And so basically what's going to happen is we're going to change the quest name based on the new quest dot quest name that gets thrown in. And dot text. And quest description dot text is equal to new quest dot quest description. And so we have that, and so now do we think to ourselves, where are we going to actually get this information? And it's when we click on one of the quest buttons. So we're gonna have like quests on the side here. I'm going to click on them, and so that means that we need to create a button with quests on them. But first, we need to actually make this button, and so you can just make any old button. And so we have a button here. You can make it look however you want. And we're going to create a new script in our quest scripts, and let's call this quest button. And our quest button is simply just going to have a quest attached onto it. So we'll just say public quest base. We'll just say my quest. And that's all it's going to need. And so I'm going to attach this quest button onto the button here. And we'll call this quest button too. And I'm going to make this a prefab by dragging it over into my prefabs folder. And now it's a prefab. And I'm just going to make this look a little better real quick. Okay, so I have my new quest button here that's all fancied up. And the next thing I need to do is create a new home for it. And so I'm going to make a scroll view. And the reason why I'm making a scroll view, so go UI scroll view. The reason I'm making a scroll view is because I'm going to be having a lot of quests in this quest log. And so I need to be able to scroll through all these quests in case that we have too many. And so we have to do a couple of things here. First of all, we need to adjust the height of it in order to match my UI. Maybe just decrease the width just a slight amount. Something like this should be fine. And I'm going to also be going to my viewport, actually going to my scroll view, sorry, disabling the horizontal. And then I'll also be just turning off the alpha for the background. And the scroll view, or the scroll, is going to have to be this default because I don't have a replacement for it, but maybe I'll find one in the future. So it's just going to look like this, and I have to do a couple of things still. It's not going to work right out of the box. We have to create a vertical layout group, and we're going to disable the width and the height, and then we're going to create a content size fitter and go to vertical fit, preferred size. And so what's going to happen is if I hit play, I'm going to drag over my quest button into the content area, and it's going to automatically sort this into the top, and I'm going to add some more. And I could also probably going to have to go to my content. If it's not like right at the right spot, you can change the padding to move it down just a bit. So I'll have to remember that it's 8. And then if it goes off screen like this, it'll create the scroll view for the scroll, and I can go over to my game and scroll through it. So the slight, well, not issue, but it's a little slow for my taste. So I go to the scroll view and increase the scroll sensitivities to something like say 10. And it's going to scroll a lot faster through all these quests. And so I have all these quests now with all the buttons and names and whatnot. And they have the quest button here, and soon we'll be adding quests to them. But we have the home for them now, so I can get rid of my quest button. And this is just what it's going to look like. And now I can go over to my quests to actually create this button and add a quest to it. And then we're going to be able to click on it and change this information. So now that we have our quest holder all settled, we can now go into our quest log manager, and we need to make a couple more references. So let's go to our quest log manager. And the first thing is that we need a access to the actual content holder in our scroll view, in order to know where to put these quests. So just do a transform and call this quest holder. And then we make one more, and we need to make this a game object and make this quest button prefab. And so we'll be instantiating the public game object quest button prefab whenever we add a quest. So let's just go hook up those references real quick. Alright, so let's go to this quest log UI manager, and let's throw in the content here into the quest holder. So make sure that it's the scroll view viewport content. You can change this name to quest holder in case you forget where to put the things. And so the quest holder should have a quest holder reference, and then the quest button prefab. Well, we need to go to our prefab folder and drag in the quest button here. And now we have access to the prefab. And so when we go and create our method, and so we'll just say public void, we'll say add quest to log, and we'll need to throw in a quest base. We'll call this new quest, and then we need to instantiate the quest button prefab, and it's going to ask us a couple of things. I'm pretty sure that it'll allow us to put the transform parent. Yep, there it is. So we have the original prefab, and then the second parameter is the parent, and then the parent is going to be the quest holder. So what this will do is just instantiate this quest button prefab and then add it underneath this quest holder button. So now that we have that, we need to actually call these methods, and we're going to make a we'll make a singleton out of this, because we'll be needing to use this in a lot of different scripts, and we don't want to have to make references to this every single time. So make a public static quest log manager, and then we'll need to make an await method, and then if the instance is not equal to null, then the instance is equal to this. Nope, this. And just like that, we have set up our singleton, and now we can go into other scripts like our quest base. So let's go over to our quest base over here, because we'll be initializing quests right here. And this will be a pretty good spot to add the quest to our quest log. And so we can just go to our quest log manager .instance add quest to log here, and then it needs a quest, and we can just throw in this quest. Alright, so I made a little bit of a mistake. Instead of instance not equal to null, we have to make it equals to null. So if it is equal to null, then it's this. If it wasn't null, then this would just return, and we don't want that. So if it is null, then we'll make it not null by making it this thing. So I'm going to open my pop-up or quest log UI, and I'm just going to drag it over here for now. Well, actually, let me just copy the transform, because I don't want to lose it, and drag it over here so it doesn't go away, because I don't have a way to open and close it. And we'll just use the top view to see that it got added. So you see here it got added, and there's a couple things that we need to do. First of all, we need to make the quest name the actual name of the quest, but we see that it actually got added, and it gets added to the quest holder. And then we have to actually do the functionality of when you click the button, it actually updates the quest UI. So let's go and do that. Alright, so the first thing we should do is go to the quest button, and so let's go to the quest button here, and we'll make a couple of references, or just one really. The text reference, so we need access to the text, so if you don't have it, you need engine.ui, and call this quest name text. And then we'll need to make a method. We'll call this public void set name, or maybe just set quest, because we'll be needing to throw in the quest too, since we need to set my quest. And so what we'll do is we'll make a quest base and then call this new quest, and then make my quest equal to new quest, and then make quest name text equal to, well, actually text equal to new quest dot quest name. And just like that, it sets the quest and it'll set the name too. And of course we have to first set the reference in this thing. So let's go to our prefabs, go to our quest button, we'll open the prefab, and then we need to go down to the quest name text, drag that in, and that'll be all set. And you'll see that we have a my quest here. We don't want to set that through the inspector panel, so we can just say hide in inspector, and that'll just hide it in case you don't want anyone to mess with it, because we'll never be setting this through the inspector. So anything I'm not setting the inspector, I like to hide it. Now that we have that, we can go back to our quest log manager, and here we'll be trying to get access to that quest button and access to that method we just created. So what we're going to do is create a var, and then we'll say quest is equal to this, or the instantiation. And so this is going to be the game object that we instantiate. And then we can say, well, actually I should probably call it quest button, makes more sense. Quest button. And then so we can just say quest button, and we know that it has the quest button script on it, so we can get component, the quest button. And then we're going to be wanting to access the new method we just created called set quest. And then we'll be throwing in the quest, new quest. So just passing through the new quest here and to here. Let's just be passing it along. And so with that, it should update the quest that's on there and then the quest name. And so this is important because when we click on the quest later, we want it to update the UI here. So let's just go and close out of this. We'll play it. And we'll move this out of the way. And so if I go over and accept this quest here, it'll update the name here and it says kill the slimes. It's pretty poor quality since we're using the Unity text component and not Text Mesh Pro, but you'll just have to bear with me. And so here we have the kill the slimes, but if I click it, nothing's going to happen because I haven't set that up yet. And so let's try to set that up next. Alright, so what we're going to do is that we already have our method in our quest log manager. So if we go to our quest log manager here, we have the update quest UI function here, and all we need to do is call this whenever we click on our quest button. And so let's go over to our quest button and create a new public variable, and we'll just say on pressed. We're going to call our quest log manager instance dot, and we're going to call the update quest UI function, and we're going to pass in the my quest parameter here. So now that we have this, it still doesn't do anything just quite yet. We have to hook it up to our quest button. So let's go over to our quest button prefab here, and on the on click event we're going to hit the plus sign, and we're going to drag in itself, and we're going to go over to the what's it called, quest button here, and then we're going to call the function onPressed. Alright, so now that we have that all set up, we can now go and play. And I'm just going to move this over once again. And I'm going to go over and accept this quest over here. It says kill the slime. I'm going to click on it, and it updates the quest UI here. It says kill the slimes, could you kill 2 slimes for me? And so if I go over to the kill the slimes quest, it says could you kill 2 slimes for me, and then kill the slimes. So that's all our description has for us. And the neat thing is that if we change this actually to say could you kill slimes for me, the slimes are really getting out of hand, because it references this scriptable object here. If I click on it again, I'll actually update it. It says the slimes are really getting out of hand. And so whenever I click on this quest button, it's going to extract information from here. And so if I ever update the, let's say, the progression of this, it'll automatically update in the game too. Obviously only when we press the button though. So with that, we can get rid of this quest text here. Let me go over to my quest description. I'm just going to delete all of this and delete the quest name, and so that's all empty. And so that when we actually play the game, we don't have all this text here. And so the next thing we need to do is open and close this, and then we'll do the progression part next. Alright, so let's go over to our quest log manager, and let's do the inputs here. So you should have some sort of input manager in your game, but in our game, since it's just a test example, we'll just do the opening and closing of the UI in here. And so it's going to be pretty quick and easy. I'm just going to do a game object. We'll call this toggle quest UI, or quest log UI, I should say. Well, actually just call this quest log UI because the toggle goes in here. And basically we just have to say if, well, we don't have to do an if actually. We'll say quest log UI dot set active, and we're going to do the opposite of what it currently is. So quest log UI dot active self, and then we'll put an exclamation point. And so what this essentially will do is that it will, well, actually we have to do the if. This is what I wanted to do. Input dot get key down, and we'll just do get key or key code dot let's say L for quest log. I guess that makes some sense. We'll just make it one line. You don't have to do that, but I kind of like it being one line. And so basically if I press L, it'll make it the opposite. It'll set it to active to the opposite of what it currently is. And then the last thing to do is actually set the reference in our quest log UI. So we have quest log UI, and you want to put it the child of this. You don't want to put it itself because this is where the manager is. So you want to put it this thing. We'll just call this quest log. Alright, so let's hit play. It'll pop up and hide itself. So we have the opening closing of it, so I can just have it closed at all times, and then I can next go over the progression part. Alright, so I have my new quest UI here, and I just upgraded it a little bit. And so this will have everything that we're going to need. And so basically we're going to have our regular quest description here, and then we'll have the NPC turn-in and the turn-in name. And here we'll have the item rewards, but we'll do that later. And then we'll have the objectives on this right side. So let's just handle the references first, and let's go to our quest log UI, or quest log manager, I'd say, and let's just make some references here. And so we need some texts. So we need the objective text, and then we're going to need the NPC turn in text. And we'll do the item rewards later. So let's just handle the turn in and the objective. So let's first go to our quest log UI, and I have my turn in text and the objective text over here. So you'll have to make this on your own, and you can, format it however you want, but as long as there's a turn in name and a objective name text. As long as your texts are there, you can put them wherever you want. As long as they're there, you're fine. And you just have to hook it up to your quest log UI. So now that we have that, let's handle the turn in name first. So I'll be handling most of this stuff in here, in this update quest UI. So let's do the quest, or the NPC turn in text is equal to, let's go back and look at our quest base. And so we have here the NPC turn in right here. And so we can access this, since this is quest base here. We can access all this information. And so we just have to go to the NPC turn in our new quest. So new quest is the quest base, and go to the NPC turn in, and then we can get the name of this NPC. And then we can make it something a little bit different. We'll say, we'll just add this afterwards. And we can say turn into, and then space, and then it'll be this. So let's just do that real quick. And now that I have my handy dandy, well, I should just move this to the over a little bit. It's kind of bothering me. So I have my ability to close the quest. We'll go over and talk to this person and accept the quest, and it says you accept to kill the slimes, and there it is. And I click on it, and it says kill the slimes, could you go kill 2 slimes for me? And it says turn into Ashley, so now I know who to turn it into. And then now we just need to fill in the objective area here. Alright, so for the objectives, it's going to be a little bit tricky, since we'll be, since we don't have access to the objectives within the quest base. Actually, the quest objectives exist in quest kill and the quest collection, so depending what quest you have, will dictate what the objectives are. So how do we get around this? So we can go and add a string value here. We'll say this objective list, and we're basically going to make the objective text equal to the objective list here. And so we have to go and find out where we're calling this. We're calling this in the quest button. So we can go into quest button here, and our quest button is giving us an error because we don't have the objective list. And so what is this objective list going to be? We're going to have to go into our quest base and fill out what the objective list is going to be. And we're just going to make a public virtual void. Let's call this, we'll actually make this a string, since what we want is a string. And we're basically going to make this a objective, or we'll say get objective list. And then we'll just return null for now. Will let me do that? Yeah, it will. Alright, so we'll do this, and then this is not really going to do anything, but the reason why we're doing this is because in our other quest kill, in our quest, actually, I think we only have quest kill right now. I don't think we have quest collection just yet, so I'll have to make quest collection later on in a different video, but for this one we'll just do quest kill. And we're basically going to fill out what the quest objective list is going to be. So we can go and get that method we just made, get objective list, so we do the override, and it's going to do this. It's going to return the base, but we don't want it to return the base. We want it to return a new value. And so when we call, well, I'll just like show you what it's going to look like. So let's go over to our quest button. And so what the objective list is going to be is going to be my quest dot, and we're going to call that get objective list. And so this is what it's going to be, but we haven't filled this out yet. So let's go fill it out now. All right, so here we are in our get objective list. And what we're going to do is create a temporary list. So I'll say string temp objective list. And we'll just make it equal to an empty string because we'll be modifying it later. And so next part is we're going to do a for loop. And so we'll say for, do double tab, and it'll generate your for loop. And it's going to be objective.length. So we're going to loop through the objectives here. And we're going to say temp objective list. We're going to be adding every objective to this list here in a string format. And so we're going to essentially be doing something like doing a $, and then 2 quotation marks. So we'll be following the same format here, except after looking at this is kind of inefficient, but we'll be doing something very similar, I say. So we'll say you've slain, and then we'll do current amount, and then we'll do slash. And so this is why it's a little inefficient, because we don't need the actual plus signs if we're doing this. So I can actually just remove these plus signs and it'll be the exact same thing. And so we'll do current amount, and then we'll do required amount I, and then we will do the name of the enemy. So we'll say objectives I dot required enemy, and we'll get his name. And so we'll say you slain, probably something like 0 out of 2 slimes, something like that. And then another thing that's important is that we need to indent. So we have to say /n. And this is because if we add a bunch of them, we want it to create a new line. So this will ensure that it'll be a new line every time. And so the last thing to do is return the temp objective list now. And so this is all we'll need for that. And so let me just get rid of these texts real quick. That was just for you guys to see. And I can hide this. And I can go over and talk to Mel and accept the quest. And I can open up the quest log, and I'll have to go over and click this, and says you've slain 0 out of 2 slimes. Well, it says slime. I guess I can fix that real quick. So we can just say, instead of slime, we can add a S to it at the end, slimes. And then we can say, we can go over and add some more objectives here. So let's say we need wolves. And so we'll go back. And we'll go open our quest log, we'll do this, and it says you've slain 0 out of 2 slimes, and you've slain 0 out of 2 wolves. And so that'll handle that. And so you can have as many objectives as you want, and it'll just populate this field here. And if you have like that many objectives, you can add a scroll to it, but you probably won't be needing that. And so this will handle the objectives here. And the next thing we need to do is the rewards now. Alright, so we need to handle the quest rewards now. And so very similarly to the quest, when you get to claim the rewards, we'll have to populate that field in our quest log down here. And we'll be using a bunch of images. And so we won't be able to have an infinite amount of rewards because that's kind of a little bit too out of our scope. If you really want to do it, you have to use most likely object pooling, and that way you can have infinite amount, while you could also instantiate it. That's a lot of instantiations that go on in a short amount of time, so I wouldn't really recommend that. Instantiating the quest buttons is kind of okay. It's not the best. You still would want to use object pooling, but it's not as bad because we're doing it very, very rarely. So we'll just handle this rewards here. So I have my reward, and it's a game object that we're just going, and it's just the panel here, and we're just going to add a bunch of images. And so we'll have to format it, and we'll do the grid layout group. Alright, so I went ahead and formatted it so that it looks a little bit cleaner. And so we need to go to our quest log manager and create a reference to the rewards, and we'll make a image, and we'll make an array of image and call this reward icons. And let's go and set up that reference real quick. So we need to go to our quest log UI, and we have our reward icons here, and we can click the little lock icon at the top right, and it'll lock our inspector. So if I click on other stuff, it'll stay. And the reason why we're doing this is because, well, first of all, let me just rename this to reward icon, and then delete these, and then duplicate to 9, and then I'm going to then click on the first one, then shift click the last one to select all of them, and drag them into the reward icons, and it'll populate that field for us. And I can uncheck that so we can unlock the inspector here. And so we've successfully set up that reference. Alright, so what we're going to do is make a for loop in our update quest UI. And we're going to say double tab, and we're going to do the rewards icon dot length. And we'll say try, and I'll explain this later. We're going to try to make the reward icons i.sprite equal to the new quest dot rewards dot item rewards i dot my icon, and then we're going to catch and just say reward icons. Well, actually, we'll just make it reward icons I dot set game object dot set active false, and then we'll just copy this, paste it up here, and we'll set this one to true. And so what we're doing is that we'll try to set this to true, and we'll try to well, actually we'll do this one first, and we'll try to, actually it doesn't matter, we'll try to set the icon equal to the new rewards icon, but if the index doesn't exist, then it'll just do this instead. So basically it's just like an if statement, except that we would have to do a lot more if it was an if statement, but this is a lot easier to do. So we'll just do this instead, and we'll go into our game here, and we'll need to set all these reward icons to false. And we're going to hit play here, and we're going to go talk to this person, and then we'll get the kill at Slimes quest. We'll go and do this, and we see that we have 2 rewards here now. And so that will basically handle that. Alright, so let's do the gold and experience, because I forgot to add that. So we have rewards here, gold and experience. They're just 2 little text boxes here. And we'll need to go into our quest log manager and set up the references towards those. And so we'll do the text. We'll say gold text, and then we'll say experience, or I'll just do exp text, and we'll need to say gold text is equal to the new quest dot rewards dot gold reward and dot text, that is, and then the toString. And then we'll need to do the XP text dot text is equal to new quest dot rewards dot the experience rewards toString. And so it's just going to be a flat number, and we want to have the actual, like, the word experience or gold, and so we can say something like gold, and then we can say EXP. And so right now it says gold EXP, but I want to get rid of that, and we'll have that appear once we set up the references. So let's go gold to gold, XP to XP, then we'll hit play, test that out. So let's go over and talk to this person, accept the quest, go over the quest, click on the quest, and then we'll see EXP 150 and get 100 gold. You kill 2 wolves and 2 slimes. And so last part is that we need to now handle the to see if the quest is complete or not. Alright, so we'll need to go over to our quest prefab button. And so let's go to our prefab quest button, open prefab, and we'll need to edit this a little bit. So I'm just going to make the anchor of the text, the quest name to the left, and I'm going to create a new image and be using this little checkbox I have here, or this empty checkbox, scaling down. We'll call this checkbox and have it to the side here. And so when this quest is complete, it's going to be a check mark. And so I'm going to need to go to my quest button script here, and we need to create a few references, and the reference I need to make is the public. We'll need to grab the image of the checkbox, and then we'll make a new one and call this let's call this unchecked box, and then we'll make a sprite and call this checked box. And so we're going to change the unchecked box to the checked box here. And so we'll need to check if this quest is completed whenever we enable this game object. So let's go and see on enable here, and we'll say if my quest is completed, then the unchecked box dot sprite will equal the checked box. And so we'll need to go over to the prefab again. I don't know why it went away. Alright, so we're back in the prefab and we need to set up these references. So we'll need to throw in the unchecked box. Well, I guess we should name this unchecked box. Unchecked box, and then we'll need to go over and get the checked box here. And so it'll set the sprite to this checked box instead. And so let's close this prefab. So I sort of forgot that I never implemented isCompleted in the quest base. So go over to quest base and find your isCompleted, and we'll just make isCompleted here equal to true. In the evaluate, so basically I'll just put a little note here. It says quest is not complete, return. And then when we also need to make sure that isCompleted is equal to false whenever we initialize the quest here. And so let's go over to our get rid of that. I should have that off by default. And so we'll need to kill the slimes here, and we'll need to kill 2 slimes. And you see that it's not completed yet. And once I kill this one here, I open it up, we get a little check mark. But there's a problem where you see that it's 0 out of 2 slimes and 0 out of 2 wolves. If I click it again, it'll update. And so it doesn't update unless I click on it. And so what we can do is that we can check if the current quest that's being displayed is the one that we're on currently. And if it is, then we can just update it when we open up the UI. So let's do that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to our quest log manager, and we'll just say private, and we'll say a quest base, and we'll say displayed. We'll say last displayed quest. And so what we're trying to do is that whenever we open up our quest log, it's going to update our last displayed quest. And so we'll need to check if we open up our quest log, and so we'll have to expand this out. So we'll get rid of this, and we're going to encapsulate into some brackets here, and it'll look like this. And so we're going to check if the quest log UI, quest log UI dot active self, if it's true, then we're going to do the update quest UI. Well, we'll just make it another one and do update quest UI, and we'll say do the displayed quest, last displayed quest, and last displayed quest dot, and we'll get the objective list here. And then we need to check if the last displayed quest is null, and so we'll say if last displayed quest is equal to null, then we'll just return. Alright, so now the last thing we need to do is when we update the quest UI, we'll make sure that the last displayed quest is the new quest. And so this will track the last displayed quest for us. Alright, so we're back to our old setup, and let's see how this works. So let's go talk to this girl, we'll get the quest here, and we have this quest, and we want to make sure that when we kill something, that whenever I open up, it'll say you've slain 1 out of 2 slimes now. So I no longer have to click on this thing to update the quest, so it'll automatically update to the last displayed quest. And so that way, your player doesn't have to, did I kill 2 slimes yet? I have to click to make sure to update this thing. No, that's, you don't want them to do that. You want them to just kill stuff, and then they open up their quest to check their progress. Okay, 2 slimes and 1 out of 2 wolves. I need one more wolf. I'll kill this wolf, and I'll open it up again. Oh hey, it's done. It has a check mark, and I gotta turn into Ashley now. So where's Ashley? And then this person's name is Ashley. And she says, thank you for killing those slimes. And then I can claim the rewards here. Alright, so this very last part, I'm going to show you how to use your arrow keys and the Z button in order to navigate your quest log. And so if you're not interested in this part, then you can skip this part. There's not going to be anything else after this. So if you're not interested in that, then I'll see you in the next video. But if you are, you can stick around and I'll show you how to use your arrow keys and Z button to use the quest log. Alright, so let's go over to our quest log manager here, and we'll go down to the quest log UI active self. And we'll be cleaning this up a little bit, so we don't need this anymore. So we'll get rid of this. I don't know why that happened. And we'll be doing a try. And we're going to try to do this. And we're also going to try to get the first button that exists in the quest holder. So we'll say var first button is equal to, and then we're going to say quest holder dot get child. So we want the first child, and so what this quest holder is referencing to is the quest holder over here. And so this is where all our quests go, and so it's going to get the first child of this, and the first child is going to be the first button. And so this will guarantee that we get the first button if we do get component, and then we'll do button, so it's going to get the first button that exists in this quest log. And then we're going to select that first button. And we're going to catch, and we'll just return. And so basically what this is going to do is that if there is a quest there, then it's going to do all of this. But if there is no quest, let's say our quest log is empty, then we'll just return out of it. And so now we can go back to our game and hit play. And if I hit the button here, then nothing happens. Let's go over and talk to Mel here, get the quest, and you'll see that at Z, it'll select the first button, and well, when I open up the quest log, it selects the first button, and then I proceed to activate the kill the slime quest. And so that's how we do that. And if we want, we can have it so that when we're in our quest log, we can't move. That can be quite simple. We can just go to our quest log here, and then we can make a new, well, it should probably be a public variable. And so we'll make a public boolean in quest log, and we'll make this a get set because we don't want to see it in the inspector. Alright, and so if the quest log is active, that means we're in the quest log, and so we'll say in quest log equal to true over here, and then else we are not in the quest log. Alright, so now that we have this set up, we can just go over to our character movement. Character, or what did I call it? Controller? Player movement? Alright, there we go. Player movement. Then we have our check freezes, and then we'll just add a new one. Else if we'll say quest log manager instance dot in quest log, and then we'll say is frozen is equal to true. And so that'll do that, and then you can also add it to the dialogue manager. If you don't want to enter a dialogue, we can also add it in here. It's basically the same thing, but I don't know why I have it in two different ways, but those two are the same. Quest log manager dot instance dot in quest log. And you could also just make it so that if we are frozen, then we can't enter the dialogue, but I won't mess with that now. And so let's go back to our game and hit play. You can see I can move around, and then I open up my quest and I can't move around anymore. Let's say I'm in my quests and I'm pressing Z. It won't allow me to talk to anyone while I have my quest open. To make sure that you're not messing around with the stuff in your quest and then you accidentally talk to someone in front of you. And so with that, I'll make some example quests and show you what it's going to be like if you have multiple quests. Alright, so I made a little example. So I'm going to play, and I have two NPCs here, and I want one's blue just so you can differentiate it. And so we have Kill the Slimes as usual, and then I have a new one called Kill the Wolves, and I'll hit the L for the quest log, and I'll hit Z, and I'll show you the Kill the Slimes quest as usual, and I hit the down arrow to the Kill the Wolves, and hit Z, and I have this new quest here. It says kill the wolves for me, and you kill 3 wolves, and in return we get a little heart. And so that's how you can create a simple quest log. And so we have everything we need, all the information is displayed, and if you have any questions, you can comment below. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. I'd like to thank my special patrons Mohammed, Magello, Xavier Herbert, Van Helen, Seymour, Castor, Pale Blue Dot, and Polybius. Thank you for being my patrons and supporting this channel. If you'd like to support my channel, go to patreon.com/devbird. And I'll see you guys next time.